Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to episode 4 of What's Next with myself, host, and joined by also another host. I said I could never call her co-host, but I am the Utah chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, as well as a shadow member of Parliament for Laventille East Movement, and I'm joined by my other host, Precious Cruikshank. Good night.
Good night, Mr. David Welch. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Don't be shy. Give your whole title. Give your whole government title.
Of course, and I am the women's chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party. My name is Precious Cruikshank, and I am delighted to be here for our episode 4, season 2 of What's Next. So good night, Trinidad and Tobago, and good night to all our viewers looking on with us tonight.
Nice.
Okay.
So, welcome to the broadcast once again, Trinidad and Tobago. Let me first start by thanking all of you for the tremendous support that we've been getting so far for all the What's Next episodes. In fact, there was a guy that reached out on the last show, based off the last show. I think the first season, actually season 2, we spoke about, the first episode of season 2, we spoke about the constitutionality of Trinidad and Tobago and the constitution needing change. And there was a guy that reached out from Canada that sent us the Canadian constitution. And I'm yet to take a read of it, but he is telling us that, or telling myself, that it's a model for the world to follow. And yeah. I'm yet to read it, and I will be reading the Constitution of Canada just, soon when I get time to. But, it's pretty nice that the show has reached international. There are persons internationally that view the show and that love the show. What's Next?
Absolutely.
Right? So this is season 2 once again of What's Next. How much episodes we intend for season 2? We intend for season 2. I mean, I don't know.
We anticipate a lot. Not, guys, let's see how it goes. Probably we can look at 10, 12, 15.
I mean, 6 is probably good. We could possibly do 6 seasons.
6 for season.
For episode 2, yeah. For season 2.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's season 2 of What's Next, all right?
Yes.
But, let's not be shy right now. I mean, in Trinidad and Tobago, we deal with a lot every single day. In fact, the presidency is up for grabs on January 20th. That's next week Friday, as far as I understand.
So, yeah, next week Friday.
All right, next week Friday. So we have just a few days until Trinidad and Tobago selects its 7th president to the Republic of, this island. And, the nominees are Christine Kangaloo, as well as Israel Khan, put forward by the opposition, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, or the UNC-led opposition, and obviously Christine Kangaloo put forward by the People's National Movement, the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Now, many persons had some problems with Christine Kangaloo. Many persons seem not to have problems with Israel Khan, despite Israel Khan saying if you don't get your child vaccinated,
you should be charged.
You should be locked up and charged. He said lock up the parents and charge them. And that, as president, is very, very much concerning. We want a president that is independent, obviously, but I think he is a little bit crazy. But anyway, outside of that, we have a lot to deal with today. I mean, I got a media release from the police service that I want to just touch on as well. But before we get to that, there was actually a video of a parent actually in front of a school that would have slapped another student. And while I understand the times that we're living in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's such uncertain times where we know that young persons are taking up guns and ammunitions and weapons of mass destruction and using it on, their other peers. I saw a video today with a parent taking action into her own hands and slapping a child outside of a school. Now, in my view, and I'm young, I'm 22 years old, I keep saying 21. I'm 22 years old, and in my humble opinion, I think there's a better way to deal with it than taking action into your own hands. But I want to throw to that video, I want to show you all the video that I'm talking about, and then when we come back from that video, we'll have a conversation on it. And the conversation that we'll be having is going to be with Dr. Esther Prince about this. And well, I'll give the title of Dr. Esther Prince as soon as we come back from this clip. But take a look at this clip, Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to formulate an opinion on it, all right? Take a look.
Well, what for? Well, what for?
So, that is the video in question there. That is the video that we're talking about. Run the video, just keep it up there while we just do a quick, a brief convo on that video. So, what you're seeing here, I don't even know this school, but apparently it's alleged. I mean, I don't think the parent is mad to just hit the child just like that.
Yeah.
But apparently this girl here was interfering with
her child, her daughter, exactly.
Her daughter. I don't know what she would have mean, whether it would have been bullying, it would have been something of said sort, but the parent took her own action, her own decisive action, and you can see that she slapped the child here.
And if you realize the lady in the background in the green, or if that's a gentleman, looks like a lady, she didn't even do anything also. I strongly believe that a parent wouldn't just lash a minor just like that. Probably the young lady was probably bullying her child, and her child is probably an introvert, that she would not take action for herself. And of course, parents with that protective instinct would want to come and say, listen, if the school is not going to do anything, and the school is not going to do anything, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. Or the child, when she came to pick up her child, and the child tells her mother what is happening, she went up in probably a rage, or just one-time protective mood, and went and faced the problem, because no one wants their child to be taken advantage of, especially in an environment such as the educational institute. Yeah, so probably it's her protective instincts. We don't know, but based on that video, I am certainly sure that she would not just go up to a child and hit a child, but that does not make it right. There are other measures that could be taken instead of going up to the child and hitting the child. Of course, the mother probably was really upset, so one time she just let it go.
Now, whether or not she was upset or not, I think there's a different way to deal with that situation.
Of course,
but
there is.
Let's not hear it from us. Trinidad and Tobago joining us on the line to talk about this very issue is Dr. Esther Prince. Now, Dr. Esther Prince is a former Caroni Region PTA president, and that's why she is such an ideal person to talk about this. She's also the former secretary of Child Welfare League of the Chaguanas region, and the current president of Kingdom Eagles Community Empowerment Organization. Now, Dr. Prince also has a doctorate in theology. I mean, that's the doctor behind it, in theology in the year 2001. And she also studied at the Fivefold School of Theology International out at Barbados and the United States of America. Good night, Ms. Prince.
And good night to your host, Precious Cruikshank, and to Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much for having me.
Good night.
Good night, Ms. Prince.
Ms. Prince.
Now, Ms. Prince, you saw everything that we just saw there coming out of that video of a parent slapping another child outside of a secondary school.
Yeah.
All right? Tell me, Ms. Prince, first off, what is your opinion based off that? I know we'll be speculating, but what's your opinion based off what we just saw with a parent taking decisive action into her own hands and hitting another student?
Well, firstly, that video was very incomplete. So you really cannot make a decisive decision on what took place, how that parent came about slapping the child. We would want to say that, that shouldn't happen. But you have to get the better information, which we are missing. It never gives the right for you to slap a child. But in the times that we are in now, based on crime and criminality and everything that is happening, as a parent myself, I would want to say that if I come up and see a child taking advantage of my child, I would really want to slap that child down. it is not the right thing to do, but that protective, as Ms. Cruikshank said, that protective instinct, seeing your child being bullied or being taken advantage of, you wouldn't think about anything else but to go and defend your child. So, in the absence of the complete video and what really took place, we can only speculate. I'm not one to really speculate, but there is always a reason for persons doing what they do. Yeah.
There should be an avenue at least for parents, because you were a former PTA, a former Parent Teachers Association president.
Yes.
I know that you would have persons that will have parents that are so upset with the way that their child is being treated at a school. Have you ever dealt with instances like that? And as you have dealt with instances like that?
Definitely. And go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, as a president for the PTA, have you all ever addressed matters like that and got it resolved? Talk to us, Ms. Prince.
You never, in most instances, you always try to do damage control by bringing both parents, the children, parents together, and to resolve the issues. We tried back then when I was president. I don't even think it was as bad as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But we would try, if there's an incident, as long as there is not any damage, harmful damage, bodily damage, you try to bring parents together and find out what is happening, why these children would have gotten themselves in the situation. Also, I have had a situation with my own children in school where, children would try to bully them because I have disciplined my children in such a way, to defend yourself, but do it only if you have to do it, right? Because you have situations where children come to school with weapon on them and all this sort of stuff. Now, most time when you bring parents together, getting the teachers involved, principals, the deans, and so on, you would realize that their homes are broken. Their homes have a lot of situations that cause children to become who they are based on the environment at their homes.
So
yes, we have had.
You said earlier that the situation before, when you were the PTA, was not as bad as it is now. So you're admitting that somewhere along the line something is broken, at least either in society or with the whole system itself. Are you alluding to the fact that it is because of a broken home and the broken system at home, the broken down family structure at home, is why we're seeing such at least rampant violence in schools, or if director could play the clip again, situations like this happening outside of schools?
Definitely. And it has not now started. This has been brewing for a long time. And I remember sharing that, when I was a child growing up, you had your parents to discipline you. And when we grew up, because of the discipline we got, some of us would have alluded to, I will not treat my children or discipline my children the way my parents did it. Now, the truth is, the discipline that we got never killed us, didn't do us any harm, but had us in a perspective, a mindset that we would not have even thought about behaving the way you see children behaving today. So it all comes back to parenting, ideal parenting based on your circumstance. And many people would make excuses for whatever is taking place within their environment, but the blame where parents try their best with their children, but because of the outer influence, the community influence, not all children are adherent to what their parents would say.
Now, Ms. Prince, based on what you're saying there, because there is also the school environment that creates bullies as well.
That's right.
Would you say that corporal punishment should be re-implemented in schools?
Of course, I always supported corporal punishment, and as a pastor and apostle, I go with what the scripture says. Fear not the rod, spoil the child, and spoil the child. If you spare the rod, the child is going to be spoiled. And we brought this into the system, and I think I was talking this evening and talking about Rash Shoti I song. We take what we took from the school, what we took away from the children. And you know, I love that song. We take the creator out. We have to go back to the creator who created us in his image after his likeness. I know some people would say that is crap. I mean, where do we go? Where do we go? We have to go back to that intent that God had when he created us. We are his creation. And he created us with a purpose. And he put certain measures in place for us. And if we take him out of the school, we take him out of the home, we take him out of our hearts, what do we expect?
Got you there, Miss Prince. So once again, Trinidad and Tobago, speaking with us live on the line now is Dr. Esther Prince. She's a former Caroni Region Parent Teachers Association president. She's also the former secretary of the Child Welfare League of Chaguanas Region, and she's currently the president of Kingdom Eagles Community Empowerment Organization. Now, Ms. Prince also graduated in the year 2001 and studied at the Fivefold School of Theology International out at Barbados and the United States of America. Any questions for Ms. Prince?
Wilt, I do have a question, and my question is, how important do you believe that shaping a child's character from young is? How important do you believe that is?
In a child's life?
In a child's life, correct.
It is not important. I mean, that from a young age, as a matter of fact, from the womb, character is built by the way the mother especially, and also the father, respond to that child in the womb. And I think some of us do not believe that what we do as parent, as a mother, while that child is in your womb, respond when it comes out into the outer world. We have to be so very careful. I alluded to this afternoon to a conversation where we were talking about how parents of today will dress their children, will allow them to somebody said gyrate, but I don't even want to use that word. I think that is too decent for what I see. Wind down the place, and they laugh and say, oh, she's so cute and she's looking so nice, and the child is getting on so vulgar. And these are the types of environment that our children are exposed to. And parents, they allow it. I remember growing up, you were covered, you were protected, you were taught to pray in the night. I don't know if anybody remember the prayer, gentle Jesus, weak and mild, look upon this little child. These were the things. You go to eat, you have to say your grace before meal, grace after meal, even in the school environment. But there is none of that anymore. So the children are just, they're just running wild. There is no sort of godly thinking, no sort of behavioral, should I say, godly behavioral. And some people may question it. But it just means, godly behavior means good character. Because God is a God of character. He's a God of love. He's a God of peace. And if these children cannot exhibit that or see their parents exhibiting that within their environment, how would they know about it? All they see is confusion and quarrel between mommy and daddy, or mommy and the outside man, or daddy and the outside woman, and it's bacchanal and confusion, and you go on in there on the computer, they're looking at all these. Look, sometimes I feel that this system is so crazy. And what do we expect? If our children are being brought up in this kind of environment, this is the results that we are going to see. Now, for the parents...
No, go ahead. Finish.
For the parents who feel that they have to interject and protect their children, I mean, I give them 100% right. But you have to be careful as to how you interact with other people's children, because you were not there when the whole thing started. We don't know who pushed who started it, So for you to come in and just slap another child, maybe she saw what that child did to her child and being angry, she went up and slapped the child. But there's a way to do things because, I mean, she's a minor. She's a child and the
Exactly.
parent is an adult. Okay?
Exactly.
So
Now,
there's a process and there's a way to do things.
now, Dr. Prince, just a quick question as we wrap up this interview. Do you believe that parents should be charged for neglect?
I do believe that.
Thanks so
I
much.
believe that children, that parents, and I have to say this in a very sensitive manner, because how do we phrase that neglect? And I will talk just very quickly about myself. When I was much younger, and I had a daughter who was very young, and I had to go to work. School was closed. I did not have the extra income to take her to a babysitter or take her to, a nursery place or anything of the sort. And I remember having to make that decision to leave my 7-year-old daughter home alone. I had no family member close by. There was a neighbor next door that I asked to throw an eye on her. But it was the wrong thing. I know it was the wrong thing to do, but I had no choice because I had to go to work. I had to pay rent. I have to take care of my daughter. I have to take care of myself. And that is a form of neglect. And this is why, Mr. Welch, we as a people have to come together. You heard the proverb, a community or a village raise a child.
Yeah.
We have far gone from that. But we need to come together. We have so many ills that is happening where single mothers have to go out and find bread for their children. Can they throw their children along with them? Do they have the money to pay to get somebody to look after them? And here's where the social communities and work, social welfare, government, let's say government has to come in and lend a helping hand.
Yeah.
I remember the PTA had something called the Homework Center. Government used to give subvention to assist where these children after school can sit in and the teachers are going to look after them and help them with their homework and so on. It is difficult, but we need to come together ideally and find a holistic way to deal with these issues. It's not a one-way thing. It's not a one-way thing. We cannot just blame parents alone. Yes, I think that if you are neglectful, you should be called in, find out what is happening, because some parents neglect is not willingly neglect. But there are those who willingly neglect their children and leave them to the should I say the atmosphere, to an environment where anything can happen to their children. Yes, those are the parents that we really should do something. I agree with you that they should be charged or they should be counseled or something, because we have parents who were not trained to be parents. They just happened to have sex, get pregnant, and a child came forth, but they had no type of training, even from before they came out of broken homes. They are messed up in their mind, and now they have a child. They are called parents, but they are not ready to be a parent.
Thanks so much, Dr. Prince, there for your expertise on this, because Ms. Prince is speaking as an expert on this matter. Again, Ms. Prince was a former Parent Teachers Association president, and she also was, she has a long track record here, former Secretary of Child Welfare League of the Chaguanas region, and obviously the current president of Kingdom Eagles Community Empowerment Organization. All right, Dr. Prince, thank you so much. Any closing words?
What I would want to say is that we need to come together as a people. We really need to retract our mind, reset our mind, and stop being selfish. We need to be our brother's keeper. If we want to see change, if we want to really save our next generation, our future generation, we as the adult government, NGOs, we have to come together. We have to stop pulling and tugging and pointing fingers at one another, but come together, put our heads together and see how we can deal with the issues and matters that is before us. And one thing I want to say, government personnel don't set any example either. And they who have been elected to see about the business of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They too need to sit with people like myself and many others who are probably more certified in these areas so that we can do something to bring back our children, to bring back our future generation. Because when you look at them, they are lost. They need for us to come together, bring something to the table to help them. They need help and they can't do it by themselves. And even some of our parents, they need help. What do? We cannot be pointing fingers. We need to sit and we need to find a solution, or else we're going to lose a lot more. And I don't think the jail has much more space to accommodate. Putting young people into the jail is not helping anything. As a matter of fact, I think it is making it worse. All right? So I want to send out this word, hope that the right people will hear it. We cannot afford to be selfish. We have to come together and let us all brainstorm and figure out how we do this to bring back our children to a place of discipline, a place where they're going to have respect for others and respect for themselves as well. And then we can look forward to having a better future generation than what we are seeing heading down the road. I want to thank you all for having me, and may God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prince.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prince.
So there was a woman that was seen wearing camouflage actually in Port of Spain.
Yes.
And the police service wanted her to take off, and it's a camouflage top, so it was like a crop top that she was wearing. And the police service wanted her to take off the crop top. Director, show us that video before we go on a break.
Well, Philly, I think they're trying to make sure that girl take off she camo top and what's going on here. Well, madman thing going on. You understand? And because we talk about it on coast, look, they're looking up a man, watch. So we talk about it on coast, they're looking up a man. And we shouldn't talk now, well. Failure.
I don't know if based on what he's saying that they spoke about it. The two of them spoke about it.
Yeah, not one of them, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God.
Trinidad is a movie, not Trinidad and Tobago. This country
indeed.
is a movie. Now, camouflage, I mean, it's draconial. The fact that you still want to lock up persons for wearing camouflage is definitely draconial, all right? But I'll tell you why it's draconial after this break. Stay tuned.
Air conditioning services, professional services at affordable prices. They have air conditioning units starting at $2,700 with free delivery, installation, and Wi-Fi ready. We supply Pioneer, Lennox, Comfy, and Infinity, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245. Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices.
Safe, caring senior care living facility where your family becomes our family. Our experienced caregivers are trained and overseen by our registered nurse who has years of experience in psychiatric nursing and working with geriatrics. We provide a safe living environment for your loved ones. Come and visit us. We are located at 4 Roads in Diego Martin, Arichel Homes. We are family. View us on Facebook, Arichel Homes. Contact us at 684-2873 or 468-3186.
Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago, to season 2, episode 4 of What's Next. You know, we left talking about camouflage, and the lady that was the officer told her to take off her camouflage.
Yeah.
I don't know if they expect a woman to take off her top.
Her crop top.
Her crop
in
top
public.
in public. I mean, because public indecency is a crime in Trinidad, despite saying homeless people
tell her
with everything
go home.
exposed.
You need to go home, but don't ask her to remove her crop top in public.
Well, you see, the problem that we're facing in Trinidad and Tobago is not only that we have retroactive laws and laws that are put there to protect the elites in society and not you, the poor man on the ground, but the fact that we tell persons don't wear camouflage as though wearing camouflage is going to kill Tom next door, because it's not. It's a retroactive law. There's a picture, I believe it's on the system. If not, director, I want you to go onto the desktop and look at tonight's show. I can't remember what the folder is labeled. But the police service seized marijuana and ammunition in the Mover district. And when you see what else they seized, it's amazing that they go after the camouflage more than they're going after their own police gear. Now, the former commissioner of police at Trinidad and Tobago, Gary Griffith, he actually had plans of changing the police uniform.
Yes.
All right? I don't know whatever came out of all of that, but it was supposed to make it. Actually, he came out with the, there was the police badge that came out with it, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
that tells you that this officer is a legitimate officer.
Yeah.
All right? Not just the police uniform now.
You have a badge,
you found
you have a
the
number.
picture by chance?
You have the name. And you know, David, a lot of police were kicking against that, you know. A lot, because, you know, it's something that was a change, but it was a change for better for the law enforcers of Trinidad and Tobago. Seeing what was happening in the past, and it's still happening now, where you have persons in the possession of police uniforms, army uniforms, etc. So that badge was only given to those who are registered as police officers, law enforcers in Trinidad and Tobago.
So they attack camouflage so much, right? But like director, show the clip, show the video, the picture. Sorry, look at the picture. Look at this. This was seized in Mover, Trinidad and Tobago. The police gear and a quantity of ammunition as well as some drugs and everything like that was seized in the Mover district. Now, a quantity of marijuana and ammunition along with several articles of clothing bearing the word police were seized by officers of the Northern Division during an anti-crime exercise conducted in the Mover district yesterday. They're going after camouflage so much, but there are persons impersonating the Trinidad and Tobago police service. Not only that, but a couple of days ago, Trinidad and Tobago, there was, I think, a businessman was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Right? A businessman was kidnapped and attached to a prominent grocery too in Trinidad and Tobago, as far as I believe.
Correct.
He was kidnapped. He or she was pulled over by police officers, alleged to be police officers with the flashing blue lights, everything like that. And when they came out of the vehicle, Trinidad and Tobago, it was... Okay, sorry. When they came out of the vehicle, it was not police officers. It was actually persons impersonating to be police officers in Trinidad and Tobago. So you also see now, they go after camouflage so much, but there are persons that are impersonating the own police uniform, the own police gear. So it's not only retroactive to charge persons or lock up persons for wearing camouflage, but it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Camouflage, what camouflage, what does it say? You see somebody in camouflage, what does that say?
What exactly? What does it really say? Especially a woman having on a camouflage crop top. You definitely know she's not going to rob anybody.
It says nothing.
Or whatever. It's nothing.
More concerned about Prime Minister Rowley not wearing a mask at the press conferences. That's what they need to be more concerned about. When Prime Minister Rowley refused to wear a mask and he says in the beginning that it was illegal and all kind of nonsense like that, they should go after him. Now to go after the average person that buy a camouflage top.
Correct.
If it's so illegal, why are you bringing it into Trinidad and Tobago in the first place?
Exactly.
Why sell it on the street? Why have army fit and say for one day only you could wear army colored clothes? Why go through all of that? It is ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. If you want to restrict something, restrict it fully. Don't restrict it and then have it unrestricted for one day. Absolutely not.
Director, it would be best if you text me what you're trying to say. I don't understand. But anyway, so that's just it. The Progressive Empowerment Party, because you've heard everything that the Prime Minister said, and I really don't want to get to Rowley, because if I get to Rowley, I go feel frustrated. But the Prime Minister actually, you know what, just play the Progressive Empowerment Party clip. The Progressive Empowerment Party calls on the government of Trinidad and Tobago to cancel Carnival 2023. Take a listen, Trinidad and Tobago. That is the CNC3 News.
The Progressive Empowerment Party is calling on the Prime Minister to take preventative action now to protect the population by cancelling Carnival. In a statement issued to the media, Philip Alexander states that it would be far less costly for the state to meet with stakeholders to offset their losses to this point rather than underwrite the social impact of another lockdown. Alexander says if the new strain is as virulent as government concedes, then the government has a responsibility to take preventative action to limit spread, including cancelling the carnival to protect the population. Now, Philip says the Prime Minister himself could be guilty if his actions led to preventative loss of life. On Thursday, Dr. Rowley said that there will not be any restrictions at this point in time and that Carnival 2023 will go on as planned.
So there you have it, Trinidad and Tobago. The Progressive Empowerment Party is calling on the Prime Minister to cancel Carnival 2023. Now, I wanted to get a clip from what the Prime Minister said yesterday. I'm not seeing, well, I have it on Facebook. And it's the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, actually saying that the unvaccinated persons in society protected the vaccinated persons in society protected the unvaccinated because they went to get vaccinated, and that is why they don't need to cancel Carnival 2023 because the mass majority of Trinidad and Tobago population is vaccinated. My question to this incompetent jackass is, what about Gibraltar? What about China? What about places around this world where countries, where persons, where citizens got completely vaccinated? They had, like, Gibraltar had 105% vaccination rate. When we were in the COVID-19 pandemic, or still in the COVID-19 pandemic, and only vaccinated persons were allowed on cruise ship, how is it that they still saw spikes? How is it that they still had to lock down? Why is it that China had to revert into a lockdown despite having a population, so much of them vaccinated? Why is it that despite it was England, all right, UK, the United Kingdom, when they were vaccinating citizens and all kind of thing, they actually went back into lockdown? Why is it that Dr. Fauci first went saying don't wear a mask, tell persons to wear a mask, and then say if you're vaccinated, you can take off your mask, and then change that statement saying even if you're vaccinated, you can still contract COVID-19? You need to stop bullshitting Trinidad and Tobago. You need to stop bullshitting yourself, Prime Minister Rowley. You need to be real with yourself and recognize that you have failed. You are incompetent. You have no idea what you're dealing with and have no idea how to deal with anything that you're talking about. You are a geologist trying to be a Prime Minister now, trying to be the Minister of Health and trying to tell us about COVID-19 and tell us about how it spreads. Prime Minister Rowley, miss me with your bullshit and resign. That's what I will tell you. You have no idea. He has no clue what you're talking about. How is it
telling people one thing and then changing the story after?
How is it you could come and tell this population that the vaccinated persons in society are saving or saved the unvaccinated because they choose to go and get vaccinated?
That is the conclusion they have decided
but
to
hear the nonsense. After it is that you disband your safe zones and you disband everything like that, he was the same jackass Prime Minister that come to tell this population that they knew from day one that the vaccines were not 100% or will not be the solution for everything.
Exactly.
But now, Precious, is when he coming to tell us that vaccinated save unvaccinated. But missing with your bullshit.
That's it. They have a lot of stories, a lot of changes just to try and convince people to go and get vaccinated.
I don't think it's even trying to convince people to get vaccinated anymore. I think it is this incompetent band of thieves, misfits politicians, especially inside of the parliament, especially those on the left side of the house. I think, Precious, it is, and she laughing, I really think they are after the money. They had to be after the money. They borrowed billions of dollars from China, and Chinese vaccines not working. The Chinese government have said it. There's news coming out of China that Chinese vaccines not working. But we want to bring Sinopharm, whatever farm we want to bring here. Rowley, take all the vaccines and maybe you could go and...
We would leave that right there. But guys, people of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to wake up. Absolutely. There is no way that you can be telling the public one thing and then changing the story after the next. And don't tell me it's because developing information. And no, the vaccines do not 100% work.
The vaccines don't work.
Just don't work.
Just say it as plain. And Facebook, you could try and take down this. The COVID-19 vaccine does not work. That is why they had to disband the safe zones. Safe zones were absolutely nothing. It's no zone. What is a safe zone? When it is that you get vaccinated, you come to work, you touch up everything, you go back home, what do you have to tell them that? You have no unvaccinated persons living with you?
Okay,
of course you do. Rowley, miss me with your total bullshit. You was the man that catch COVID-19 majority of the time.
Exactly.
You catch COVID more than Jesus could even come back down to earth.
Exactly. And he was vaccinated.
And he vaccinated. But you coming to tell me vaccines save people? If vaccine is the thing saving Rowley from death, then I don't want no vaccine. Trinidad and Tobago, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Stay safe. Enjoy your night tonight. Prime Minister Rowley, go to hell and all take Terence the Alsing with you. Take all of them with you. Take the vaccine with you. Take the Antichrist with you. Take everything with you and just leave us alone. Leave us alone. Leave Trinidad and Tobago
I wonder
alone.
if the Minister of Health would actually shed another tear.
Maybe.
He might, he just might.
Just busting a vein in my brain.
I tell you, he just might, because it's nonsense. You can't tell people one thing again and say another and then come back and say a different story. It doesn't work like that. We are not fools. We are not taken for granted. People of Trinidad and Tobago, you know yourself. Let's get it together.
We're too nice with this man. That is what we are. We want to, after this video goes out, people are going to say he's disrespectful. They're too nice with Rowley. Rowley don't care about all your, the PNM don't care about all your, look at all your road, look at all your healthcare system, look at all your educational system, look at the crime rate. Tell me how Rowley care, how the PNM care. Tell Rowley, tell the PNM, tell all of them, miss now with the bullshit. Go straight to hell. Do not pass. Don't collect $200. Just go to hell.
Don't collect nothing.
When I was an activist, you know what I used to say? take a PTSD bus and a leaking PTSD bus to and drive it straight to hell. That's what to do. Or you're too nice with these politicians. You're too nice with them. You want to say, oh, have respect because he's the prime minister. But that man who claimed to be the prime minister, who claims to be the blackest man in Trinidad and Tobago, does not care about black people in Trinidad and Tobago. Does not. He does not care about black people in Trinidad and Tobago. And I can say it plain now because the person next to me ain't an Indian again. Trinidad and Tobago, stay safe. Have awesome one. Good night.